All right, all right, all right. What's up, folks? Let's get into this topic, man. And this one, man, things couldn't go any worse for one individual in the sports world than Tyreek Hill, man. That was a sad one, man. And I was looking at this one off of the dude's channel called Brian Stutter. So anytime I see sports related injuries, I always go to this dude's YouTube channel. And that's this guy here. Being he is a guy who's in sports medicine, he is an MD, and I always want to listen to his opinions on as he goes about assessing injuries across the sports world, whether that's basketball, football, and especially mixed martial arts, and really kind of getting a medical breakdown of these injuries. And when looking at him do the breakdown of what he was assessing just based on looks, even though nothing's concrete, nothing's been confirmed until x-rays and shit are done. Oh man, that mess had me squeamish because a knee is issues I deal with. And anytime I hear anything related to the knee, man, that mess give me pain. Like I feel that. Anytime I hear people talk about surgeries, anything like that, man, it be feeling like my body done went through it, man. That's why I'm one of them dudes that be terrified of going under the knife and why I would never go under it. And but back to looking at Tyreek when I seen that shit and his knee twisted over and his foot, but old dude doing a breakdown of his Tyreek's running out and the knee locks out. His leg is extended out and locked. Oh shit! Oh damn! Oh man, that gave me so much pain. Like I say, I got knee issues like a mother. That's why I stopped doing my working out. Many reasons why I stopped working about the knees. Oh my god! But then seeing that fool, oh lord, and that dude talking about the potential of a knee dislocation. I was thinking you can just snap that shit back in like when a shoulder pop out of socket. But they like, man, there's so many goddamn not only tendons but blood vessels and all type of shit around there. And this is a dude who is noted for his speed. His speed makes up for his lack of height. And the fact that this dude leaves trails of flames behind him. And the fact that whether or not how bad this injury is, man, this can railroad everything this dude had going. And I think he was also trying to get out of Miami, also looking to get top dollar for, his potential, homie. And the fact that now teams look at it like, I don't know about paying you now. Oh, shit. And then this fool got all these issues with these bras because he a dummy. Oh, damn, fool. That's the one thing you cannot be is a fucking fool in life as an athlete, dude. Athletes cannot go about making such poor life decisions because this is where that end of the road shit begins for an athlete is an injury. And especially on that goddamn knee, anywhere on the leg, but not the knee. Damn, homie. Damn. And it wasn't like he got blown up or no shit. He running out of bounds and the leg get caught. Shit. That motherfucker all over here and there. Like, now, oh man. Now I remember seeing Paul George tear his shit apart, Sean Livingston. But I don't even know if they even the same, but they ain't doing cuts like this dude. That knee is a motherfucker. Oh, damn, Tyreek. And then you got all these whole issues, fool. Man, you better make some drastic changes on this shit. Hopefully he get his money, man. Hopefully he's able to rehab, but the way sports medicine works and how advanced, medicine is and all this other rehab shit, hopefully he can come back and make a full-on recovery, man. And he in the NFL, so he gonna get the best of goddamn medical treatment as it relates to an injury, especially a sports-related injury. And he'll rehab himself, go through the proper rehab, get right back out there. The other crazy thing with rehab and surgeons, they make you get right out there. It ain't. This is the other thing they learned through that. I don't know if it comes from out of kinesiology or just through research and study through medicine and understand the body. The The thing is not to rest. Where I think before it was like coming out of surgery, things like that. The thing was to sit and rest and all that shit. But over time, research has shown that it's best to get right out there and start rehabbing immediately, like to strengthen and stretch tendons and build muscles around shit. It'd be like, damn. That's probably why in the hospitals that's what the thing that throws people off now, especially if you've been living for a while where you were accustomed to seeing if people went in for surgeries and things like that, they stayed in the hospital for a while. The hospital sends your ass out until you immediately get to walk in and doing all this rehab shit. And that is the important thing. And the importance of movement as well. And I learned that shit from, not moving and putting on weight and shit. And then you getting out there moving, especially having to go through rehab as I had to get my knees back straight. Rodriguez says, what to do? Brother, salute. Deuce Time says, damn, cheated. Man, Deuce, did you see that shit? Oh, man. Out of all people, his shit twisted over like, God damn. And now them hoes probably laughing at him and shit. Oh, dirtbag bitches. Rodriguez says, literally the definition of bending the knee. Tyreek got a whole lot of baggage. Says, remember he was pulled over and detained last year, right? Says right before a game in Miami. Says he got baby mama drama and now busted will. Now a busted will. Yeah, he couldn't ask for worse shit, man. And that's why as these dudes as athletes and athletes across the board, man, they have to be humble. They have to be very conscious in their decision making. Because once an injury occurred, man, it is over with, man. Over. Who I was watching the other day, and it's crazy because I used to always say this when I first started seeing this dude. What's that dude? I was watching Derrick Rose shit the other day, and I was like, man, this was a bad motherfucking dude. But I remember when I always hearing about him in college. What was it? It was him and Michael Beasley, I guess, the top dudes in college or some shit around that time. But I never watched him in college. I'd never really been that big on college basketball. But I always remember people talking about Derrick Rose and shit. And then when I finally ended up watching a Bulls game and I seen the way that fool play, that fool top end acceleration was like in a millisecond, how quick he can go and his transitions of speed, decelerate, accelerate, cut. I was like, damn, this fool cold. His ball handling was sick. His spring was out of this world. And I was always thinking like, man, he got to be careful in that he don't fuck his knees up. Because his legs are very, very powerful. He got to be cautious about how he goes about launching, these cuts and it's and that. And that's ultimately what got him. The same thing I used to see with that fool. Who else I used to watch spring was fucking Vince Carter. But Vince was able to still go on Vince just changed dynamics to his game and shit. But lucky with Vince, he had the height as well too. But Vince's ability to spring. But the fact that fool Vince, even following his careers, was able to go on with like a 22-year career or some shit like that, which is unheard of. But what they call him, half man, half amazing and shit. Velocity Cuz says, hey, Cuz says, did you just wake up? Says from that stump out trap. Says, did you wake up from that stump out trap? Money says Benny gave you. Man, yeah, right. Niggas wish. I'm the king of this shit, homie. And he says, I'll use Reggie bitch asses to smack you in the mouth, nigga. He said, Kings. Oh, when he told that, he told Boston Scholar that shit, like he gonna knock me out. Use my knocked out ass hand to slap that nigga in his mouth. Boy, niggas be talking shit, boy. Boy, that's my dog, though. But I'll beat that nigga the fuck up. And the Deuce Todd says, D Rose equals East Coast Russell Westbrook, for real. Russell was another motherfucker, man. I didn't even know, and it'd be crazy how I sleep on a lot of young, talented dudes. Because the homie said in CG, I remember when I first met Russell Westbrook, I think I went to his graduation party when he graduated high school. And did I hear about this fool? I think I did hear about him, but you never heard about Lusinger or some shit. I didn't hear about him from him. I think when I was at FedEx, it was me and a couple of dudes used to talk basketball and shit. And they used to bring up, and it was crazy because Brandon Jennings was one of the homies' cousins and shit. I remember the one of the cats talking about him, and then I ended up seeing like around that time a mixtape video of Brandon Jennings, like this nigga cold. They was talking about a dude who was jumping out the gym, DeMar DeRozan, and then I hear about Russell Westbrook, but never seen him play. I think around that time before I even meet him, something came out about Luzinger basketball. You never ever heard about Luzinger. Motherfuckers don't even know Luzinger even exists, let alone having a basketball team or a football team. You talk about every school within the LA city section of Los Angeles, and nobody ever talks about Luzinger. How the fuck did Russell Westbrook go to Luzinger? Boggles my mind. With all the top basketball high schools around there, he ends up at Luzinger. So I end up going with, I didn't even know I was going. These fools, we going to Compton, and we go to his graduation. I don't know if it was because there's a girl there too, who I think is his wife. I don't know if it was her graduation party or if it was his, but he was there. And I remember the homie said was like, man, this is the little homie Russell Westbrook. He's like, he going to UCLA. Never seen him ball, but I was like, when I hear y'all losing, I was like, I didn't think that much of him. But then seeing him when he one of the cats I did watch when he got to college, because I wanted to see who he was when they was bringing him up about how good he was. And then seeing him at UCLA, that motherfucker, you talk about top end acceleration, just like D Rose. That motherfucker Westbrook acceleration, and the fact that he can sustain that shit throughout a goddamn game is crazy. He must have been one of the more hyperactive ass kids that just ran throughout the house all damn day. Usually that be them type of kids that just you be having to ready to whoop their ass because they won't sit down. They don't know how to walk. They got to run everywhere they go and do shit. That be them kind of kids that when they get into, a sport or something, they can just go forever and shit. But that fool, the fact that on the basketball court from the offensive end, he can grab the rebound and get down to the other end of the court with the ball before a defender can transition back to defense. Then that motherfucker would sprint all the way back down, and he would do that shit throughout a goddamn game. And the fact Russell Westbrook can do that shit even today. And he ain't never, have you ever had an injury? He ain't never sustained a serious injury like that, right? But D Rose is like, D Rose game was different because D Rose would go with that top acceleration and cut on your ass. Go here, cut back there, and then spring out of nowhere. It was like, damn, that's a lot of load being put on the legs. But the fact he maintained such a light weight and shit is the other thing. But even with that big ass dude, the other crazy thing to do with the strongest legs was that big ass fool who looked like he owned Ozempic or crack. It's that big ass fool can jump out the gym. He big as my motherfucking ass. Zion Williams and shit. But now he like a smoker and shit. Everybody on that Luka Doncic crack. And the Rodriguez says, what happened to your other channel? Man, you already know what happened to my shit, man. You ain't even got to ask that question. Shit. You don't CBO that motherfucker. That mean they done blew my shit up. And then Velocica says, I seen Polo Porch channel, says, and it took me to another channel, says called Pussycat Dolls, and all they was doing was going ham on each other. Says going ham on each other on the panel. Man, yeah, that's why Ben Israel's talking about his own that shit. Nigga crazy, homie. Says makes sense. Says makes sense. Trap money Benny says be going crazy. Says it's a community of them motherfuckers. Yeah, it's a bunch of Ben Israels on that shit. Like that fool Ben Israel, a psycho ass motherfucker, man. That nigga is crazy. But I know how to deal with Ben. Everybody else be running from Ben Israel, man. That's the homie, man. I fuck with Ben Israel. Nigga loped out than a motherfucker. Deuce Time says it's crazy how Russ and D Rose are the same players, but D Rose never got the criticism Russ did. But D Rose career kind of faded out and shit. But I think where that criticism with Russ book comes, I think it's kind of fanboyism is the reason why he get that criticism. And that shit comes from the OKC shit. That's all that shit. And it ain't even just OKC shit. It's also because this is the other thing why he gets the criticism. D Rose always stay quiet. D Rose wasn't a person that will give interviews or give the same kind of reactionary shit. Being Russell Westbrook, an LA motherfucker, through and through. And he ain't with none of that bitch shit. He ain't nothing with them old sideways, suburban ass, punk pussy ass sports commentating questions. Like they'll ask athletes questions because they think most athletes are fucking idiots, and they'll ask some disrespectful shit and go over their head. And Russell Westbrook will look at the motherfuckers like he did with, which is kind of like a viral meme with him, like, nigga, what? Westbrook will look at the damn reporters like they dumb. And then they'll call suburbanites to want to mount and support of that shit and try to turn against them. But the fact that blacks have become such idiotic fans and are very unsupportive of sports when they're the ones who make the shit up, they're the ones who put all their kids through this shit. But they are the last and the least uh, uh, and the least viewing people that want to watch these goddamn sports and stand in defense of these fucking athletes who tend to be in relations to the motherfuckers, whether it's through blood or just other familial things that we should share in common and shit. That we allow the athletes to get picked apart by a bunch of punk ass pussies who would never say that shit in their face. And that's the only reason why Russell Westbrook has faced criticism, is the fact he will make reporters look stupid, and reporters happen to have more familial lineage with cornballs ass sports writers and punk ass sports commentators. And when they ask Russell Westbrook some dumb shit, Russell Westbrook is gonna treat them like they stupid ass people. And the fact that he keeps shit funky, that's the only thing that's separating why they criticize him. The fact that what they should achieve in Oklahoma with all that talent on that team and to lose that shit, they kind of probably still blame him for that shit. But you can't take nothing away from him. But the problem is the narrative's controlled because people pay attention to little cornball ass fucking sports media people and then don't stand to reject the shit that comes out of ESPN talking chumps mouths and shit. But Russell Westbrook is a Hall of Famer in my book. He's a dope ass dude. He's just gonna be a guy who didn't win the championship. And the fact he's still in the league. Well, how long that fool been in the league? That shit got to be close to 20. Cause damn, when I met the fool in like, and what is that? When he graduated, maybe 09 or let me see. Wherever he graduated the high school, like I said, it was either his high school party or it was the girl who was his wife now high school party. And that had to be, no, I was living in Long Beach still. That had to be like 08, 09. Let me see. This fool name is Russell Westbrook. Hold on, where's this fool shit at? That fool, what he going on? He got to be, what? Is it 20 years or something in the league? Yeah, that fool been in here for a long time. So he was at UCLA. So yeah, he went to, so it was 05 when I met him then. So he went to UCLA in 06. So 05 is when I met this fool. So it was 05. Then was I in Long Beach then? Maybe I was in Long Beach then. And so this fool been in the NBA from, when did he get to the NBA? He got to the NBA in 2008. So he approaching 20 years. That fool been there. Was he in 08? This is 2025. What's that, 17-year career? 17 going close to 18-year career. I mean, shit, that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal as hell. Then he done been with a couple of teams. He done been bounced around through the league. That's a phenomenal ass career, homie. He done his thing. Let's see his achievements. He's been MVP in 2017. I think that's when that fool was averaging like 30. Was he averaging like a triple double or some shit? Or a double double in that 1 year? He put up his numbers. He had 9-time NBA All-Star, 2 All-Star games. All-Star don't mean shit. Oh, he 2 All-Star game MVP. 2-time All-NBA first team. 5-time NBA second team. 2-time All-NBA third team. He is NBA All-Rookie first team. 2-time NBA scoring champ. He a 3-time NBA assist leader. And he's an NBA 75th anniversary team. He's third team All Pac-10. This is in college. He's Pac-10 Defensive Player of the Year. Man, this motherfucker's achieved his shit, homie. He a gold medalist. Is that what is that? The World Cup, Olympic Games. He's a gold medalist. I mean, you can't take nothing away from that dude. He didn't achieve this shit. And like they said, they stated what he's gonna be. But even they were saying with him, they didn't think he was a bad. They said he was good in Football. He was good in football and shit. Rodriguez says, damn, bro, says what the fuck says YouTube says be on some BS. Yeah, I don't be knocking what YouTube doing. I still bring my black ass back on here. I like the platform. So it's just me. I be fucking up. But they did some whole shit on taking that main channel I had. That was some shit I didn't get, but it's something I learned from. All I do is treat this shit as learning experiences. That's why I don't cry about that shit. Velasquez said, did you see Drew and Stormy says cry baby crying about what happened to Bud? Says even Malachi said they put him in cuffs. Man, them fools Drew and Stormy just be loving turning any old regular ass things in the civil rights movement, acting like they the mouthpiece for black folks. Just turn shit into what it ain't. That damn situation. Now, Coach Malachi was in the car, so his situation is different, but still the situation ain't that serious because ultimately, this is the way I look at it. I ain't with none of that shit needing to be fearful of a cop pulling me over and none of that shit. I understand what the fuck is going on. The thing is not to be combative with the motherfuckers because they also got a dangerous job because there's a lot of stupid ass people in the world. Now they can't decipher whether or not you one of the good guys in society or you a motherfucker that really got this fucking cop shit. And whether or not a regular traffic stop, because there is proof in body cam evidence, uh, 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 audio evidence of motherfucking regular ass situations that turn deadly for cops. So they train these motherfuckers to be hiding and on alert. The thing is just to be calm, cool, collective, listen to commands. You ain't got to deal with shit. Do some cops out here do fuck shit? Absolutely. But what motherfuckers got to remind, especially black folks, of thinking, because some black folks get in the mindset of being they dealing with a white motherfucker. The white man is so high and mighty above them, and there's nothing they can do. Because some black niggas just weak in their mind. That white motherfucker is nothing but a 9 to 5 ass employee. He got to wake the fuck up, be there on time, because he can get his stupid ass fired. And departments, who also police departments, have to balance themselves economically and also face pressure from the city. If there's a department full of complaints, full of lawsuits, taken away from city funds to pay out people, that officer fucking got to go. So that's ultimately what's going to happen in that situation. Now that cop then found himself in a fucked up spot, there's a lot of unwanted attention on him because he was a fucking idiot in his job. And whether or not he harbored racial ass views, they're going to come back to hunt his stupid ass. And the stress of the job is going to probably drive him out of there. Because that's what happened with a lot of cops, especially cops who sit out here on the streets and do fuck shit. As long as people are reporting that shit. Because there's a lot of people who went through that shit that Budden went through that never speak on that shit. That never report it. That's like I was telling the story the other day about that cop putting that, and I told that story many times, the cop putting that pistol in the homie face. And the homie up there, niggas wasn't scared of the homie telling the cop, shoot him, nigga, make me rich, nigga, make my family rich. Like, hell no. Nah. But guess what? None of them niggas did. None of them niggas reported that shit. They was like, man, they do that shit all the time. Oh, I see why they do. Because if I was one of the cops, I'd do it too if you niggas ain't gonna do shit. Like, the motherfuckers is crazy out here. And black folks got a low budget ass understanding of how shit works out here. But that cop is ultimately gonna fucking end up with bad conduct file, which he gets enough of them. They'll be forced to let his ass go, but ultimately gonna probably end up having the city gonna have to settle with Bud. And they're gonna pay some shit out. But also it puts that department in a bad light of, is there really a deep racial dynamic in the city? So that's the other thing they face. But them niggas Drew and them crying like they do everything in boxing, make it about some, it's us versus them and us. And they sit on here and always going at it with black motherfuckers, but then cry over celebrity motherfuckers. And it makes shit more than what it is. There'll be an investigation to that goddamn shit. And that's just the way that damn traffic stop situations is going to occur. That's just the way things go. All that emotion and crying shit don't do a goddamn thing, don't change shit. The fortunate thing, nobody lost their lives. And niggas just don't know how to handle shit. I'd be like tripping off of the way we ain't, niggas think they soldiers, but niggas really ain't. Niggas be thinking they soldiers, but really ain't. You can't be an effective soldier with all that whining and crying and Emotionally outraged over shit. Control rage is the real rage, homie. And that's the danger that anybody in opposition to you fear is when that shit is controlled. And sometimes that shit has to be ignited and a little sample has to be given to motherfuckers. And the Deuce Time says, and then back even like the story I was telling yesterday, because a lot of my stories go over stupid niggas' heads about me slamming that MP. And when I'm slamming that MP, that story and that situation was me being an idiot, but also the moment, not so much the moment arise to that shit. I don't do stupid ass shit. I don't walk around rah rah. I don't walk around like I'm the Billy Badass of the world. None of that shit. But the other thing that also kind of pushed my actions, that shit, I was drinking that night. Motherfuckers was drinking, but ultimately with me, because I got this thing of when I deal with racist shit, I don't get fearful. I be like, nigga, I'm about to knock your fucking head off. And that's probably what incited the actions of that night. Lucky that cop didn't pull no gun out. And then our baton out. This time says Russ stay standing on business with them reports. And that's the thing. That's why the criticism comes. But Russ don't give a fuck. Russ keep playing this game and teams keep signing Russ because he's a value. And then and the fact that Russ still doing that shit 18 years in his career just shows how he maintains his health. And it's probably showing that athletes can probably go endure a little bit longer as long as you stay away from significant injuries and shit. And the Deuce Time says, man, says Russ looking for a job right now. Says that sucks. Oh, he ain't with a team now? He ain't with Denver? Wait, let me go back to the shit I was reading on him. Let me see. No, he is playing. He with let me see. Or is he looking for a team? Let me see what this say. Hold on, let me see. All right, they probably haven't updated this one. Let me see. Oh, I do see something. They do say he had a season-ending injury in 2012. What was that injury? Oh, he injured his right knee. Patrick Beverly collided into him. Oh, I remember that fool had that dent in his face that one time. Yeah, Patrick Beverly, a nigga known for injuring some motherfucker with the way he played defense. Patrick Beverly, one of them niggas you be cautioning. That's why when y'all be saying, man, you ain't got no video playing niggas on the court, nigga, let me getting my knees back. Nigga, I ain't out there trying to play these motherfuckers. These fools be undercutting people. Niggas' defense is so reckless. Man, I'm cool with just getting myself back in shape, moving around. Nigga ain't going to no league and not trying to lose my motherfucking knees. That's why I don't be listening to niggas, man. He says on May 20, underwent surgery on his right hand. Says Westbrook would decline his $3 million option. Thus be he a free agent. Okay. So he turned down some option with the Nuggets. Okay, so that's what he's looking for. It may have been a mistake for him to do that. Or maybe the team reoffer him that shit, take him back on it. So throughout this fool's career, this fool has been a person throughout his career, because the high numbers he's put up early is over almost 18-year career is averaging fucking 21 points throughout his fucking career, homie. That's Hall of Fame shit. Assists per game over this 18-year career is eight. Rebounds per game over his career is 7. Homie, them Hall of Fame numbers, homie. I wonder what's the average, not amongst the league, the average amongst other Hall of Famers. Like, this dude has done this thing. This is a badass dude, homie. Yeah, this dude did this shit. And let me see. Velocica says Brody set for life. Says he got another 2 years left on his Jordan Brand endorsement deal. Talking about Westbrook. I'm happy to see Westbrook get his money, man. Happy to see him get his money. And that he ended up being as good as what the homies were saying he was. Because like I said, a kid, I never heard nothing out of nobody losing, but you never know. You ain't just got to go to one of these premier schools. There's talent at some of these schools. They be only one there. Remember when Crenshaw, what was that fool they used to call the Black Mamba? That fool, DeAnthony Thomas, when he was at Crenshaw, Crenshaw got gems on that field, but that fool was out there shining by himself. They end up playing on, how'd I see that fool? That fool was playing on like a local access channel on LA, or it might have been even Channel 5 played that shit. They had a Crenshaw game. Man, every time that fool touched the ball, that fool was busting. DeAnthony Thomas remind me of cat was a cat used to play at Washington when I was going to Washington named Nathan. What was that fool? Nathan Poindexter. Anybody went to Washington during this time, or you got family went to Washington in like from not the 98 to even 2000. He graduated the year after me. But I hear he went to Narbonne or somewhere after that. Man, Nathan was a little motherfucker like DeAnthony Thomas. Used to have heart, but speed, athleticism. He just knew football, man. That motherfucker was cold. That fool, I think Nathan may have been a freshman on the varsity squad at Washington and was cold with that shit. That's who that fool DeAnthony Thomas remind me of. And to see him make it to the NFL, I had looked for DeAnthony Thomas recently. He like into the construction world and shit. So that's cool to see dude make it all the way up there. Things in pan out league, I think, because of injuries. And then he was a college football Hall of Famer. And then to see him go into creating his own business and construction and shit. And then Rodriguez says BFTV says just put out a video that Canelo was behind the cop. BFTV is an idiot, bro. I don't listen to a lot of them dudes in the LWC. They say some of the most idiotic shit, and then when it come to be, acting like they're staunch supporters of people when they've been the ones who bash them. BFTV has been one of the most staunch opponents of Terrence Crawford and calling him slave traded ass names and shit. And then now want to get out here on the civil rights movement as well over a traffic stop. So BLTV says just put out a video that Canelo was behind the cops pulling Bud over to extort him. Says can't make this shit up, man. You can make it up when you're dealing with idiotic motherfuckers who through the fact that these platforms, all you gotta do is hit a button and go live, that they will create stupid ass narratives behind shit that ain't even real. Go Young DJ says niggas be soldiers, not warriors, man. Yeah, these fools don't even be soldiers. These fools just be crash test dummies. These fools ain't even soldiers or warriors. And there's nobody to develop them to be that shit. These fools is crash tests. Soldiers have to use their brains and think a little bit. Soldiers do receive commands and orders from motherfuckers, but even the people who they take orders from are fucking dumb. So it ain't even no real soldiers or any of that shit. They ain't even that. Even the people of the 70s who used to do what be they crash out or more revolutionary shit, they planned and strategized when it was going to go up against the system and shit, or go out there and really take shit out. Them fools had a high level of thinking. Some of their decisions may have been a little bit irrational. Or was it really irrational? Or were they just pushed to the limits? And I think their push and standing up to the system stopped a lot of that old oppressive return to old ways ass shit, along with sick-minded ass whites. And then now we got another sick ass white sitting in the White House trying to go about this new re-strategizing and pushing of further declining where blacks position themselves inside the society and shit. The people of the 70s and 80s and George Jackson and all them, the Ashada Shakurs and other liberation movements and the Black Panthers, they strategize against wicked ass Ronald Reagan like motherfuckers, Bull Connor, whatever them fools out the damn South. And then Velocity Cuz says, "Hey, Cuz says, who would you trust to lead your team? A peak Steve Nash or a peak D Rose? Fuck Steve Nash. Steve Nash garbage, homie. I don't give a fuck how much Steve Nash is trash, homie. I don't care. A lot of y'all buying into that old ESPN, NBA, Sports Center TV, and all that other shit hype of these dudes. Steve Nash was cool, but none of that. I would have a D Rose, but it's depending who you got around D Rose. Because if D Rose has to take over game, Steve Nash can't take over no game. Be leading up scoring and shit. Steve Nash had great ass players around him where he should have been in the NBA finals and shit. Has Steve Nash ever went to the NBA finals? I doubt it. And if D Rose had that kind of talent around him, I'm pretty sure he would have won there. Man, you remember that one year This is before D Rose ever got there. Chicago had all that young talent. It didn't do shit with it. They had Tayshaun Prince. It was them two dudes. They both came out of high school. Tayshaun Prince out of high school. And wait, what's that fool? No, not Tayshaun Prince. I forget him and Tyson Chandler went to high school together. It was Tyson Chandler. Who know the other dude I'm talking about? It was the other dude. He was out of Chicago too. Big ass center dude. And it was somebody else on that Chicago team. Then we motherfuckers didn't do shit. Hold on, let me go to Tyson Chandler. It'll tell me who he played with. Hold on. It was the year he got drafted. Let me see. Tyson Chandler. Let me see. And Tyson Chandler was over at because I remember when Tyson Chandler was in high school, I remember everybody was talking about that fool. That fool was in that travel league basketball shit. And everybody's talking about, man, it's a 7-foot Eddie Curry. Thank you. Aaron Parker know his shit. Eddie Curry, so I'm talking about. What year was that? Because somebody else there too. But it was back to this Tyson Chandler fool. When that fool was in I think he might have been like a 13-year-old or however tall. He was like 7 feet. He was 7 feet as like a 13-year-old or some shit. And that fool was on the circuit. He was on that travel league circuit. And then he go into that powerhouse in Compton / Paramount high school in Dominguez. Dominguez had talent in that mug. All right, so that's the 2001 Bulls. 2001 Bulls says draft 2001 says before being immediately traded to the Chicago Bulls. So he was picked by the Clippers. So I didn't know that he was going to come home. He was selected by Los Angeles Clippers, says with the second overall pick in the 2001 draft before being immediately traded to Chicago for the number 1 overall pick, Elton Brand. So, damn, how they do that crazy shit? Says the Bulls place salute the Tyson. I was happy to see Tyson Chandler win the championship too. So he was so as the Bulls placed their rebuilding effort, says on the backs of 2 teenagers, Curry and Chandler. Chandler 03-04 season saw him appear in a career low of 35 games. So he had a back injury. Eddie Curry didn't do shit. It was somebody else on that team. Says Bull looks to deal away Chandler, says who had 5 years and $54 million left on the contract to pursue Ben Wallace. So the Bulls going after Ben Wallace. Boy, these teams are trade your motherfucking ass. But who was on that 2001 Bulls team? Hold on. Let me check the 2001 Bulls. It was somebody else on there. So that's crazy. And that's the other thing with you can't have too many young motherfuckers on the team because they didn't do nothing. And Eddie Curry really didn't become shit. 2001 Chicago Bulls. I was like, oh yeah, they about to get off with because I knew what Tyson Chandler was able to do. I didn't know about Curry, but when you seen 2 7-foot young dudes, I thought they was gonna do something. And them fools ain't do shit. Let me see. Let's go to 2001. Who on there? Them fools looking for everything after Jordan was gone. So attempts to attract top free agents failed, and new additions like Brad Miller. So they brought Brad Miller and Ron Mercer. Yeah, that's where they got dumb at, bringing them fools way past their damn prime. So that's also part of the Bulls management as well. Optimism returned when they brought Jay Williams. Oh my God, Jay Williams fucked over before he even got to the league. So yeah, that ain't so much on Eddie Curry and them. That's on the front office of the Chicago Bulls, who to this day are fucking certified idiots. To this day, they are certified goddamn idiots. But Eddie Curry, man, he really effed this career off. How long he stayed in the league? He was in the leagues. Oh shit, he ended up being in the league for 12 years. He got 12 years out of his career, but didn't pan out to be shit. He didn't pan out to be shit. And I hate to see that for him. I really thought he was going to be busting this shit. And the Velocity Cuss says, you remember Dennis Johnson says going to Dominguez High? I did not remember no Dennis Johnson says and only playing like two minutes a game Says and went on to win the Finals MVP. And said, I mean, oh, you said 79. Hell no, that's why I don't know who the hell he is. Hell no, 79, nigga. Hell no. I wasn't hearing about high school ball until like the early or mid 90s and shit. Cause my neighbor Durrell used to be big on basketball. So that's why I used to always hear names like Shea Cotton, who to this day, to this day, I think what's his name? What's his name that does the All the Smoke podcast? It's damn, what's these fools' names? Steven Jackson and what's the light skinned fool? Damn, what's that fool name? But even then, even on his show, he'll talk about like all the top high school names. So I used to always hear everybody who was in the high school basketball, but because of my neighbor Durrell, who was like big in the basketball, used to talk about Shea Cotton all the time. Shea Cotton was the LeBron James of high school basketball across the nation. And you still hear that fool. Damn, what's that fool? No, not Derek Fisher took his wife. Derek Fisher was fucking his wife. That dude. It ain't nothing about Derek Fisher fucking his wife. It's his old bitch. But he was crazy. He's ready to fight Derek Fisher. That fool. What's that fool name? What's the fool who Derek Fisher's fuck? Derek Fisher was fucking everybody's wife. But damn, what's that fool name? Steven Jackson and damn, how did I forget this fool goddamn name? Matt Barnes. Thank you, Matt Barnes. But even them, they bring up Shea Cotton, they bring up all them cats. But Dominguez had talent, homie. They had talent. I used to hear about Super Crip all the time. They be talking. The other day, I was hearing them talk. Oh, they was talking to Tyson Chandler, matter of fact, and they was asking him about Super Crip. Cause I used to always hear like all the cats used to be on the basketball shit talking about the dude out of Compton, talking about Super Crip, and to this day they talk about Super Crip and shit. And but yeah, I never heard of Dennis Johnson. But you talking about 79? I didn't start hearing about basketball like that until are paying attention with people, because people was talking about the Showtime Lakers. I was a kid during that shit, never watching basketball and shit. But always the thing stood out to me is like Laker merch. Like the Laker jackets used to be garbage as fuck. When the Lakers had those, remember they had those old button-up starter jackets around the time when the Kings and the Raiders had the dopest starters jackets, that black and silver shit. The Kings and even to the day, those jackets is hard. LA Raiders or LA Kings little black starter jacket like the NWA used to wear are still hard to this day. But back then, the Lakers had jackets that were ugly as fuck. And I see them older Laker fans. That's why I never liked the Lakers. When I hear them blowing up Magic, I see like, just based off the colors of those jackets, the Lakers is weak, man. They just be walking around in a yellow and purple jacket and shit. Like, hell no. Nah. But yeah, they were saying Eddie Curry, Matt Barnes. Yeah, them fools be talking about all the cats that my neighbor Durrell talked about. Matter of fact, my neighbor Durrell was the one I used to pick up a lot of hood history from too. So like a lot of stuff I hear when Kev Mack channel was doing the original Crip interviews, Durrell used to have all this knowledge when we were kids. Durrell a little bit older than me, and Durrell be always giving a story about Tookie Williams and Mr. X, who we call Big Carl Vernon, giving the stories on him. The history of the blocks. Uncle started the Harlem 30s, are part of the founding of the Harlem 30s. So he had all this knowledge of hood shit. The Hoovers and the underground. So I used to always be picking up on a lot of history on like hood shit in LA. And even another OG cat in our neighborhood, Fred, who they call Kaboom, would have so much knowledge. If he talked about like LA shit, man, I'll be have to reaching out. But then them older cats don't be wanting to talk about a lot of that shit because they deal with so much restrictive politics. Because even I remember Kev Mack speaking on that shit with Hawk before he passed away, and what Hawk did even like when listen to Hawk, that's the kind of info I was getting, like being around some of the older cats and hearing that shit. That even when Hawk did his first interview with Kev Mack and he wouldn't do the follow up because they be dealing with the politics of their peers and shit. They can't speak on certain shit. And probably some of the crazy shit them fools doing back then. These people be worried about shit. A lot of people don't want to hear on their past. A lot of these people are pastors and shit. Probably used to be some of the most psychopathic ass people, or their grandfathers. They don't want their grandkids hearing about that past or wanting that shit glorified, but it's important to tell that past. Even with me, I used to talk to T. Rogers, and I used to ask T. Rogers why. I'm like, man, why you don't go in there and do an interview? T. Rogers would go off. Like, nigga, I ain't selling my goddamn stories, because he was always worried about people taking his stories and selling them and shit like that. And and then he passes away. Nobody got his stories. T. Rogers would go off on you too. It was always cool being able to talk to T. Rogers. And you know how I ended up talking to T. Rogers? Because I always knew who he was. If you were a young South Central kid, you knew about T. Rogers. You heard about him, his activism and shit. Is when I used to think T. Rogers, somebody from BPS end up following, like when I had my early fucking YouTube channel, and then I was on, was that Instagram? Yeah, Instagram, and I'd be uploading shit. I used to upload some of my content on there. And so when T. Rogers doing his sidewalk like university thing, he wanted me. I'm out here in Vegas, and he wanted me to know. He thought I was like doing like photography and help with filming this stuff. And then I was trying to put him on my homeboy John, because John do photography here in LA. And then it was just like, I was like, no, but then we end up getting cool over that shit. But then even like contact him and speaking to him, it'll be nothing. T. Rogers over like being an older guy and with wisdom, he'll be nothing to say things that go against. Because I had to tell him, like, man, I ain't a street cat, T. Rogers. I don't like with me. You ain't got to worry about me being a knucklehead. I'm a college educated dude, grew up in the hood, and recognize that shit. But T. Rogers is cool. I wish he would have laid out his stories. But I think T. Rogers has stories from them early documentaries. Not even stories on. He'll tell a little bit of his life in them early, like, would that be the late 80s, super early 90s? And the Velocity Cuss says you was in the backyard, says you was in the backyard playing marbles with Conehead. Man, Conehead, I don't even know where Conehead grew up at, or if Conehead even played outside. Because you never hear any time when Conehead was talking about he from South Central, and then he talked more about being from Harlem now than he ever talk about South Central. Because he know he wasn't from South Central like that, or he probably didn't come outside. But I don't even knock that shit, because I don't even be on that shit that kids need to be off the porch and all that dumbass shit. Because he also comes from a dynamic that's similar to a lot of people. Single mother, his mother probably on drugs, shit like that. And that's probably what faces where Fred deals with so confusion of who he is as a black person, and looking down upon black people, not having an understanding, or even wanting to place blame where blame is solely, I mean, not solely, but where some of the blame is supposed to be directed. Like he has so much hatred of himself. And like, remember, like the nigga on Don't Be a Menace. Remember the cop on Don't Be a Menace while drinking your juice? When he talking about how much he hate black shit. He hate the black keys on the piano. He hate Forrest Whitaker neck or some shit like that. Like that's how what Fred is. And he's just a dude who always felt trapped in fear of black folk. But black folks create that shit. So I think Fred is a creation of white America, and also Fred is a creation of the ignorance of what black people do inside these communities of one another. Like we make each other fear for each other. We got some real threatening, vicious ass people from the communities we come from. Motherfuckers that would take your life over some of the most stupidest shit. Like, and so I don't fault that nigga. I understand Fred, but it's nothing for me to clown him, because he too old to be still stuck on stupid and being a sellout. It ain't got nothing about him being a sellout has nothing to do with him having a Asian wife. That ain't got nothing for me. I don't put people in those boats of being sellouts because they ain't with some black folks. I think some black people, even with not white wives, people with black wives are some big time ass fucking sellouts. Just because you married black or with black and all that shit don't mean you for blacks at all. Don't none of that shit mean none of that shit. But we deal with some real vicious ass, sick minded people in our fucking communities and shit. And so I see Fred in a different light. It has nothing to do with him being with the Asian lady that makes him a sellout. When you listen to what Fred mindset and his mentality, what he thinks, the fact that he speaks the agenda of backwood, twisted ass white folks, we have such deep hatred over people's skin, then it shows how stupid and backwards that motherfucker is. But folks, that's all I got on this one, man. I just want to talk about that damn Tyreek Hill situation and listening to that doctor speak on that shit, how squeamish that shit got me looking at that injury. And it's unfortunate with all that shit he got going on. And hopefully ain't a thing that ends his career. Hopefully ain't a thing that totally F's away the money that he looks for. Oh, man. Man. Hopefully it doesn't mess away that. Oh, I'm looking at this. That fool Vanderlei Silva got his ass knocked out the other day. I don't know if any of y'all saw that brawl. I ain't gonna play on here because you can hardly play anything on here without these fools. Letting somebody claim a copyright on that shit. The copyright rules are so stupid on here. But that fool Vanderlei Silva got knocked the hell out. And they said it was I just read this on Acelino Freitas' son. Acelino Freitas, ain't that the boxer? Yeah, Acelino Freitas, yeah, he is a boxer. Yeah, they said that his son is the one who caught Vanderlei and knocked him out unconscious. But that fool Vanderlei Silva is a fool for still wanting to fight, man. That just shows these fools don't know nothing else, man. That's the other sad side with certain athletes, man. When they don't have, education or anything else, they had that. I remember at the height of that fool shit, man. That fool Vanderlei Silva, right over there by Top Rank. That fool used to have his MMA gym right off where Top Rank is, off the freeway. But a lot of y'all probably don't even know that when y'all come to Vegas. The Top Rank gym is right here, like on the off the 15, you see it where you see those three blue high-rise apartment complex, the Dean Martin, and then you got the Panorama Towers. Before that shit, it's a street right there. That fool Vanderlei had he probably got a lot of money for selling that shit. That shit sat right there off the freeway in this location right there. And then Top Rank Gym is like right over on the side right there, right by the fucking freeway. Now you got Raider Stadium. That property probably really done skyrocketed in its value. But Vanderlei, I remember his gym was right there. Couture gym is around here. But that fool, the fact he's still out there fighting this shit just shows how big of a dumbass he is. He's just a dumbass. And he says Picasso in there saying shit happens in there rolling. And then Picasso, man, you gotta upload more content, homie. And the Velocity Cuss says you being a life coach, says what would you advise Cheetah to do? Man, make right with them bitches he fucking with. Make right with the bitches he got all them kids with. Sit them down and speak to them about that greed shit and the fact he gonna take care of them kids. Make right with the woman he was married to. You know, I was the other crazy shit. That's the other thing when thinking about this shit with Tyreek and the broads. I wanted to go live, but I was like, I didn't want to go live about that shit. It was about Bud. Now, we know Bud got all these kids with his lady, but Bud approaches, man, salute to Terrence Crawford, homie. This motherfucker a G in every aspect of the word, being like a true gangster. The gangster ain't these niggas who sag their pants, want to do drive-bys, all that whole ass shit. A gangster is a motherfucker who know how to compose himself, but also a motherfucker rip you the fuck apart, beat you the fuck up. Is when it came down where he had this baby coming up. He got a girl pregnant, fucking around, and I mean it was on. I've recently seen that shit. I seen this shit like 2 weeks ago, but he did that interview. The interview from a while ago. He interviewed with Shannon Sharp, and Shannon Sharp asked him about him having a kid outside on his wife. I think it's his wife he got all the kids with. And he was like, so how did you present that to her? He was like, shit, I just came up to her and said, man, you know, a nigga done fucked up. I got one on the way. He said he just left it right like that. It ain't no trying to hide this shit like most bitch ass dudes would do. Like he told her, I'm a man, I fucked up. Shit, I got one on the way. Shit, ain't nothing, I ain't gonna hide it. I ain't gonna wait to tell you. Some niggas be hiding it, then the baby here, and then you hit this woman with that shit. This girl pregnant, been fucking around, woo, and she accepted. And a lot of women will accept that shit. A lot of women, as long as you taking care of shit in the house, Cause this woman got all the kids she can probably take out of her body with this fool. He gonna still be there. Yeah, it's gonna hurt her for a while. But the fact he confront her like some real G ass dude would was like, shit, I'm fucked up. I got one on the way. Shit, leave it like that. Wasn't run from. He ain't do none of that Felix Verdejo shit. Who was one of the biggest hoes in boxing, along with the other couple of boxers. He get a bitch pregnant, and then he go take her life. And then Buzz said he would have told this chick. And the chick bigger than Buzz, she probably whooped his motherfucking ass. And they came up and told her, like, got one on the way. And that's how Tyreek should address that shit. Now wait for the bitch to have the baby and hit all over the news. Now you embarrassing her because the media, TMZ motherfuckers would love to get a hold of that kind of information. And then go broadcasting it. So every other motherfucker looking at this girl. Because that's one thing girls want to save themselves is from public embarrassment. You done shamed them, embarrassed them. You come out, put it out them to them. Shit, they soil in that shit. It hurts them for a while. They get over it. Then ultimately the bitch had to look up and look at it. This motherfucker still take care of that house. Simple as that. What you gonna do? Go out there, think grass green on the other side? Because he fucked up and shit. He just smashed some shit. A lot of these chicks be want to run, go into other relationships, hurts, and then they find out the new relationship ain't shit. And now they even hurt more. Dragging themselves, nah, just stick it out, woo, woo, woo. Because their relationship ain't even one that's probably even a sexual relationship. It's the fact they got so much history together and shit in common. But yeah, Tyreek better fucking make right with them bitches, get right with his kids. Slow shit, may have to cut back on what he spend on, save that money, pay shit off, own his shit, and just cross his finger, go through that therapy, man, and hopefully he can get another contract, homie. Yeah, he can get another big contract, but he better slow down. He gets another big contract and slow that wild shit down. How many kids they said they got, like 12 or some shit? That's some young cats, man. Money, fame, bitches on you. But even with bitches on, you got to see a lot of that shit ain't genuine, homie. Then you raw dog and fucking busting like a tender dick, man. Motherfuckers don't pull off a shit. I know Boxing says what's happening. Salute. I know Boxing. Picasso says Crazy Horse kicked him out. Says kicked him out before too. Oh, you talking about what was that fool Crazy Horse name? That fool was crazy. You talk that gold, my fool. Where's he out of Florida? What's that fool named Crazy Horse? You talking that old black ass fool be doing that crazy shit. Somebody choked him out though. Didn't Vanderlei choke Crazy Horse out when they was they was like in some kind of like back room or some shit, right? They got into it. I know Crazy Horse like bombed on the fool. The nigga had him in a choke and choked him out. Says Uncle Dre's finest in the building. Damn, OG in the building. Salute. Says if it's not my main man, Big Red Joe. Says you dig. Salute the Dre's finest in the building. He says salute. Said long time no see. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Picasso says I got you. Oh, on the doing more content. Dre's finest. Picasso says you dig. That's the motherfucking Dre's finest. What would you call that shit? That's his key phrase word. You dig? Picasso says salute to you, Dre's finest. Says salute, fam. Lysa Cuss says you see Zuffa Boxing, Dana White / Turkey just secured a network deal with Paramount Plus. Says the fuck is Top Rank doing? Man, Top Rank put their premier fighter, one of the best fighters of today, and Monster Inoue on their Facebook page. Monster Inoue fight was broadcasted on Top Rank's Facebook page. And they got the audacity to talk about PBC, who fighters are still getting fights. But these motherfuckers put Monster Inoue on Facebook. And that's just like no different when Terrence Crawford, remember when Terrence Crawford went to his first like big step of fight, these fools launched that shit rather than using the ESPN platform. They launched ESPN Plus Top Rank rather than putting him on the main platform of ESPN. They put his fight on ESPN Plus. at a time to where you lose a big ass audience, as many people that know how to navigate these apps, and people still ain't navigating these damn apps. The reason why Netflix and Paramount shit work is because it's still through the TV and shit. And then Drace Fonda says, absolutely. Velocity Cut says, these chicks says want 30K a month though. Man, I wish a bitch would. I'm gonna give a fuck if I was sitting on $1 billion fucking dollars. I wish 30K for what? Man, ain't no fucking way. That's why I can't do that marriage shit, man. Just knocking up any bit, bitch. You crazy. $5,000 is enough per month. That should be the max on that shit. You live a comfortable life. You can buy a house, own that shit, secure, take care of things, and then do shit with, and then have your own sort of income. 30K for one. You only got one kid with the funky motherfucker. Man, them bitches stupid. But they be looking for that shit when they go to these games where this revealing shit, and these athletes think something because they see how the clothes hug. Man, what that bitch pussy look like? Let me see what the pussy look like. That's why I'm glad I live the way I live. I'm glad I was old dog, dirty, nasty motherfucker like I was. Cause I enjoyed my shit. And I used to love looking at that pool natty. You get to see how worn down that motherfucker is. You may look bombed in a motherfucker with them clothes on, tights, big ass. What the cooch look like? Like, fuck out of it. These niggas be valuing because a bitch look like a trophy. Yeah, right. Get the fuck out of here. Then you watch these bitches be regular shit, and these bitches are level up. And they level up is the way the hair look, nails look, be having these sucker motherfuckers feeding them. They high value. Even a one broad, it was a one broad, man. I was talking about boy, they was like my brother. It's talking about the broad who that was it talking. No, it was one of my coworkers who was talking the other day about like crazy shit with broads. And this broad was getting off from me calling her a B. And it's some other crazy shit. I ain't gonna put this bitch business out there like that. But this bitch, and mine, the bitch was just fucking around. She came out here to do that movie shit. And that shit didn't pan out. She living out here in a motel with her and her mama. And they was moving out trying to get on the Hollywood shit. And I'm smashed the fucking this bitch. They had to go out nowhere. I'm fucking doing all this shit. And I'll be some shit. I'll fuck a bitch like one or two times and won't contact them for months or some shit. So it was like a time I'm like, man, let me hit this bitch up. Nigga on a drought. I done fucked off these other bitches. Let me hit this one up, see what she doing. I look at her shit. And this was back when MySpace was popping too. I was on whatever it was. Like if before I hit her, I'll be like seeing what's going on before I call her. Like, let me see what's showing. Man, she showed a photo of a nigga on his knees proposing to her. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh my God. She done hooked a stupid motherfucker in. This nigga on his knees proposing, got a free. Like, oh my God. I'm like, man, these motherfuckers is crazy. Just overbound because the girl had titties on her, had ass on her. And then when she see that this fool's a sucker and a weenie, she represents herself. And probably made him wait to get it. He probably wasn't fuck. She probably acting like she a virgin, gonna make him wait till he was hooked in, walk down the aisle. Oh God. Oh God. And even this one bitch I used to know a long time, man, this bitch, and this is the reason I never smashed this bro. She come by the crib. She come by the crib on her period and shit. But mine had been knowing her for a minute. And then we'll be like hitting each other over, like, we'll start communicating through the, I didn't know her for a minute, but instead of like calling and texting, she'll hit me on the damn Instagram or some shit or text every now and then if she want to come through. This broad come through. And she kind of kick it. Don't spend nights while living in Long Beach. She go back home. But she keep bringing up, and she had a husband. And then so when she come over the next day, she like wanted to kick it. But I'm like, for like this little weekend. And so she come by, come get me. I was like, shit, let's go to fucking Roscoe's. This is a Roscoe's chicken waffle in like downtown Long Beach. While we sitting in there, this bitch like all wrapped around my arm, all up on me. And then she like keeps saying shit about her husband on some like disrespecting this nigga. And it's almost to where people can hear the conversation and not giving a fuck. And it's so it's like, and me, I'm like, man, that shit ain't cool. Cause I'm like, not want to be looked at like I'm a nigga fucking somebody's wife. And I ain't even fuck, but I was just looking like, bitch, you's a trifling whore. You foul as fuck. Like, if this nigga married this bitch. This shit is crazy. I even seen one of my homeboy's cousin where her dude, like, what was it? It was around a holiday. And a bunch of us go by the house, and this dude, like, walk outside, this chick in there talking bad about this nigga. Shit, you should not be saying to motherfucker, regardless of how you cool you are with the rest of it, about your dude. Cause the next nigga around there will be trying to move in to fuck you, and she'll probably do that shit. And I'd be like, man, motherfuckers be playing about that marriage shit. Be playing. But yeah, that girl, when I went to Roscoe's with her doing that shit, it turned me off from her. I used to be wanting to fuck her for a long time. When she was doing that shit, I was cool on it. And I didn't even know she was even married like that. We've been knowing each other for a long time. I didn't know she was married. I like these bitches. I almost wanted to. Then again, I was like, if she was on pair, I probably would have for just to slut her out. I'd have treated bitch. I'm about to slut you out, smack you with my shit. You're like, oh, I was like, these bitches cold. And even today, even years after that, I came out here, this bitches still be on. Like, first, cause I was out here, then she used to ask me to hook her up with my homeboys and shit. I'm like, hell no, I ain't fuck yet, nigga. I'm gonna try to smash. Like, but I was like, this bitch scandalous, and this nigga in love with her, be taking her on trips out the cut. I'm like, oh my God. This shit is cold blooded out here, folks. And if Picasso said, look, I was about to end these motherfuckers and open me into a new door, this combo shit. And why I be like, I ain't with that marriage shit, homie. Cause I got stories galore. I'm not with that marriage shit. Like I said, I got major stories galore. And I was always a low kid. A lot of people don't even know I got these stories because I wasn't one of these show-offy, want to be around niggas all the time and shit. Get me and a bitch together. And man, that's why I got so many chick stories. Picasso says, I told the next that too. Says, but she thought I was sneaking around, says to see baby mama, says, but she was okay with the truth. Says actually she really wanted the baby she really wanted the baby from me. Says my kid's grown now, says it's traveling time. Yeah, as long as you up front with a lot of chicks, but especially chicks, if you taking care of everything. You taking care of everything, like how Bud was with old girl when he told her he having a baby on the way. They accept that shit. You just got to be up front rather than running and hiding that shit. Steph says, crazy injury with Tyreek, man. He says, be well, salute. And if Picasso says, yes, is that the crazy horse woke up, says from the choke, says he slept, Wanderlei says, and ran. See, so I am right. It was Wanderlei who choked him out. Okay. Says he was getting jumped by Brazilian MMA. Yeah, that's the same exact one. What was crazy horse name? Picasso. I'm trying to remember that crazy ass fool name. And then Crazy Horse used to have some crazy ass knockouts, man. And the greatest MMA, even to this day. The UFC don't even hold a torch to damn, what was the name of that shit? What was the MMA that was over in Japan? Oh my God. What was the name of that shit? Because they didn't bring up all this other shit. Not Bellator, not Strike Force. That shit was called. Damn, I know Picasso, somebody gonna remember the name of that shit. That's where all the goats from the UFC came from, that shit. Rampage, all of them. And then Jashawn said that's where Chuck Liddell went over there and that shit and got his ass knocked out by Rampage. And then Jashawn says where it's supposed to be at. Says they don't got networks right now. No, Pride, that's it. Yeah. Who was that one? Aaron Parker got that one. There we go. Pride MMA was the fucking shit. The shit. Even though Dana White dominate that shit here in America, man, the Pride got the dopest shit. Had to this day still the dopest fighters. Still to this day, the motherfuckers is the dopest. And then Andre Finer says young cat says doesn't have any common sense. Red says you did. A lot of young cats, that's the thing with young people and shit. But it's crazy because young people are coming across money that I think young people of the past wasn't coming across like they do today, man. But they come across some crazy money and unguided than a motherfucker and not knowing how to deal with women. Because as a young man, that's gonna always be an introduction of a young man. That's part of manhood is your introduction to women and sex. But how do you control this shit? I used to never understood when I was in high school. I used to be one of the football coaches. He used to always tell the young dude, you always get them girls. The girls start coming around with this is be mine. When I was coming up, the spandex shit wasn't around, but the girls, they start having the spandex type clothing that girls is wearing. You were seeing, and mind, these are young girl. Where these girls learning that shit? As I get older, I be tripping. Where these girls learning that shit? The first time I ever seen where a girl, I didn't watch girls come get dropped off by their parents. This is when I was going to Gar High School in Surreals. Used to be this one girl, and they bodies developed. This girl had big titties and shit and a nice little figure. She'll get dropped off by her parent. I spotted this shit. She dressed one way. This girl go in that bathroom, come out. Now she got on a tight shirt or her titties to show, tighter little pants on and shit, and then be showing the coochie print. And you best believe, as a young dude, you sitting there looking. Like, oh shit. And this now when you at the age as a young dude in high school and your damn boner shooting out your damn pants and the teachers want you to stand up. That's how you probably knew you had a freaky ass teacher. The one who want the boys to stand up and read in front of the class and shit. That's what that shit was. That's how you know you get a teacher who probably got a case when she want the dudes to stand up to see when you got a boner, because the dudes now looking at what the girls weren't. But when I went to Washington, there used to be one of the football coaches used to tell the dudes, man, you better learn to think not with that you said you got two heads, but you better not be thinking with the one in your pants. You be like, how the hell are you thinking with your shit? This I'm a motherfucking virgin like a motherfucker. I don't understand none he talking about. But he like, you better start thinking with this head and not that one. Because you had them girls walking by in them practices or throughout school who be walking in there. When I went to Washington, because Washington's were really, all these schools, these young girls fun, but at Washington, it was no hiding because these were girls are more dealing with either they mama, aunties, cousins, and the people around the community is hoes. So these girls exude sex. So these motherfuckers walk around really showing pussy print. And sometimes even showing the pussy. And these were, and especially in the black school where the girls got way more shape to them, got ass and all that shit. And that coach used to always tell motherfuckers, as young man, you better learn to control yourself. Because that's the way where motherfucking, that's just part of the nature of any species walking this planet. There's nothing wrong with this shit, but you gotta guide motherfuckers on how to deal with the opposite sex. Dudes have to be taught that shit. Sex has to be talked about. You got to learn to control yourself. Because that motherfucking shit is addictive than a motherfucker. And that's what don't happen with a lot of cats. A lot of cats get it, go crazy. And especially of a certain stature, especially with what sports brings for motherfuckers. Or even having the sports look, being fit, in shape, taking care of your look. Bitch is going to be on you. How do you deal with that shit? And it's some young motherfuckers who are like super celebrity as young high school motherfuckers. They're like, come on, man. Motherfucker gotta, that shit gotta be hard to deal with, especially if your person ain't, people don't have these regular talks with younger people on how to deal with that shit. And then Dre find then a lot of young cats can't have shit with older cats. Some of these older motherfuckers is weird and pedophilia. They won't keep shit real. You be watching and have to deal with a motherfucker, talk sex with a younger person. You don't know if the fool preying on the motherfucker. So that's why a lot of people just be absent of knowledge on how to deal with that shit. And then Dre's Finder says, young cats, oh yeah, I read that one. And then Steph says the poo nanny. Yeah, the poo nanny is a powerful motherfucker. Lysica says, fact, says BNs be wanting 10K a month, says mortgage 2,000 a month, says G-Wagon, says 10K monthly mortgage, 2K monthly G-Wagon, 5K monthly stylist and housekeeper. Shaking my head. Yeah, you gotta be a damn fool. Think I'll go in court and hearing the bitch asking that shit. Hey, we be in court, that bitch say I better beat that bitch in front of court. Yeah, fuck this spousal support, man. Give me I'm going to criminal court now. Shit. Fight for my freedom. This bitch crazy. I'd rather lose that shit and lawyer fees and get his trifling broad that kind of money. Fuck no. Picasso says marriage is a setback. Says because the man can live without. Says because the man can live without. Says if you know what's best for you. Says I'm not losing no more houses. Says behind it. Damn, you done lost house. You crazy as fuck to keep getting married. But y'all from the South, man. Y'all be taught that marriage shit. That's that Southern shit. That's shit they brought over here to California and shit. Man, people be rushing to get married. Get with a bitch and think you got to marry. Man, no. Fuck. If I was ever to get married, it's a chick I'm fucking. I ain't waiting and not gonna touch her to some married. Hell no. You don't even know if her pussy stink. Niggas is stupid as fuck be on that kind of shit. I'm practicing celibacy until we do the right thing. By God ain't told your motherfucking ass that shit. I'm gonna wait, do what God said to do. Man, that's some old pimp and hoe ass shit. You ain't about to wait for that shit. These days sit around, don't want to touch each other until you put the ring on it. You sign the paper, don't make a prenup, and then go get married. And then the bitch present the honeymoon night and her pussy stank. and you such a virgin, you think that's the way the shit smell is supposed to smell and shit. Like, then you eating the bitch out. And wonder why your mouth stank and shell fucking no. I ain't marrying shit. I ain't fucking. And man, hell no, man. We gotta be fucking. We gotta like each other. Not do all that shit. I don't want no pastor involved in my shit. None of that. I ain't doing none of that church shit. And then Dre's finest said, I'd rather have a rapper rap at my shit. And then at the end of the verse said, do you say I do? Yeah. Well, kiss the bitch. That's how my shit gonna go. Fuck all that pastor shit. They ain't doing none of that shit. And Dre Fonda says, man, fuck that. Parliament gonna be at my shit. And then Dre Fonda says, 30K says, only fools get caught up like that. Says, these skeezers says, them bump their goddamn heads. Says, they better get a firm grip on themselves. Says, you feel me? Yeah, that's some dumbass celebrities who didn't open the door to that shit. These dumbass actors marrying the most flat booty, no titty having broads. And then these broads go to court and putting on drama shows. And these fools paying all that kind of money, splitting half of their wealth. Hell no. Steph didn't take the time, says to get know the woman or get to know the woman, says told her what you're about, says do's and don'ts, etc. Says dudes just be ready, says to just fucking marry at the drop of a hat, for real. Man, that shit, man, them are decisions you have to be calculated about, but it's nothing worse than you than knowing a motherfucker for all, like, nothing is worse than knowing somebody for a long time. And y'all done grew up together, been cool. You know, that high school, people be high school sweethearts or childhood friends, and it blossom into a relationship and a marriage, and then they flip on each other. That's nothing worse than that love. Outside of like the marriage shit, love and hate type bullshit is a motherfucker for people who've known each other, have been so cool, and then they change when they think they're supposed to be a certain way and no longer know how to have fun with each other. They're so strict and restrictive on shit they used to do. And it ain't nothing but anger and people afraid to do certain shit, feeling awkward, and then they begin to hate. That's not that shit worse than damn divorcing. Is that kind of shit. Then knowing each other, now you don't like it. Like, I never want that shit. That's why I let relationships go. I don't want to have to hate a motherfucker that much. But like I tell people, I'm a mutual person. You act like you hate me, I'm gonna hate your motherfucking ass. Fuck you. And because I'm all about love. I'm all love, homie. I'm a cool motherfucker. But I'm also a motherfucker who can be on some I'm a righteous motherfucker when I be on some fuck you type shit. And not like, come on. Because says all these old retired says are about to retire drivers be having five. Said be high five. Sorry, said be high fiving me. Says after they asked me if I got remarried. Says, and I say hell no. Nah. Yeah, hell no, nah, man. If you marriage is about being about the one person. I don't see how people keep getting remarried and shit. And then I know Boxer says Steph says facts stem. And then Steph says shit. And then he says Roscoe is trash. Says old cafeteria chicken and waffles. What the fuck, bro? No, that one I went to with the one I was talking about with that bro. When we went down to the downtown Long Beach, that shit was doo doo. Cause it was too stepped on. It became too whitewashed. They start going into much of the like kind of appeasing to like more of a broader like white community type environment, and they start to get away from the rest of it. It wasn't like the first time I never really liked Wasco's to begin with like that anyway. But the one homie took us to the one that's on what is that on Peak or some shit, the original and shit, not the one that P&B Rock got killed at. It's another one out there that the celebrities kind of made famous that they used to go. But the one in Long Beach is like a newer one. But when I went there, broad, I couldn't believe what she was saying in public. Like talking about what her husband don't do this, her husband don't do that. I remember fucking another bro that I was fucking with who was engaged or some shit. And the whole time fucking these bitches bring up the like, bitch, I don't want to hear that shit. Like the fuck? And then Aaron Parker says, oh yeah, Pride MMA. Picasso says marriage in my opinion says it's like trying to keep your money, says in a casino. Yeah, that shit ain't cool. And that's the other thing, man. Relationships should not be, that's why I never been on that dating shit. To get to know somebody shouldn't be about what you gonna spend and they get to looking in your pockets. They just want to go out. That's why I always been like when bitches talking about they want you gonna pay for it. Yeah, go all right, let's go pay for it. You that's your idea to go. If I want to go somewhere, I'm gonna take you, then I'm gonna spend on it. But you come up with ideas, you want to go out here, well, you're gonna pay for it. You're gonna pay for my meal, you're gonna pay for yours. It's simple as that. We're gonna see if we fuck with each other. Because I don't buy into the customs that everybody live by. That's other motherfuckers' rules. I don't live by other people's rules. I ain't no nigga buying roses. I ain't no nigga about to wine and dine you, pull out chairs, open doors, all that little fake looking cool and shit. Like, no, we fuck with each other. We fuck with each other. And fucking with each other ain't sitting there looking fake, pretending and looking a certain way. I want to be comfortable. Let's laugh. Let's do all that shit. Let's not be all with our fucking asses squeezed up and all uptight and afraid to fucking fart. Like, fuck that. Let's have fun. Bitch, you like me, I like you. And then and Steph says, wait, says Bud having another baby, says with another woman. Yeah. Nigga said he told his lady, shit, I'm having another one. And fucked up. Yeah, shit. I ain't gonna kill the bitch. It is no, that was the Pride MMA I was talking about. That was the best form of MMA ever. That's the name. Thanks, Picasso. Charles Crazy Horse Bennett. Man, that's a legendary MMA fighting motherfucker, man. If y'all ever see the Crazy Fool, go watch Charles Crazy Horse Bennett. Dre Fondy says a lot of Bama says get caught up on a cute face and a big ass. It's a fact. Says you dig, says you got to have more than just that to make the cut, says to make the team. Absolutely, it's beyond that. Beyond just a chick with a pretty face and a big ass. Like a lot of that character and all that other shit. A lot of that shit. It ain't just about bras being skinny and having to have this old Hollywood standard shit. Like it's about what is that chick? That's the other thing, the value a chick bring to you. That's why I be laughing at this new shit of what people term as high value. I think I seen a clip earlier today. And it was asking three chicks. The dude walked up to three chicks. And matter of fact, it's funny because the bitches from like Long Beach. And they was asking what do they consider high value or what do they find in a man? And the first words come out because it's something that has that Kevin Samuels has coined and made kind of a popular and famous line because bitches will always try to go towards niggas with money because every dude out here be tricking on chicks. But the chicks start valuing cats on, they open about it now since the Kevin Samuels thing of what they look for in a dude. And they looking for the person with six figure. That's kind of common language that they come out with and this and that of what person got. Nobody looks for what type of joy they bring in each other. It's always about what the other motherfucker got to do and this and that, presenting that. And then a lot of dudes sit there and do that shit and be servants. You in a relationship as a fucking servant and not a human being. Trying to find ways to make sure you don't make this motherfucker unhappy, make this person not judge you and hate you. And nobody, when you listen to people talk on relationships about what they find in each other that makes them happy. Everybody talks this shit of what their type is and all this other shit. And never had that shit. Nobody talks about just finding somebody that they shared some common shit with, and even dislikes that they know how to work through. Like, and everybody looking for these perfect pieces, and this shit never work out. I don't want none shit. I just want motherfuckers just learn how to be happy, keep people out your shit, stop letting others' comments or opinions interject into your relationships. And that's why I say I'll always leave ground to where I be checked out. I leave a relationship in a heartbeat. So you're gonna learn from these other motherfuckers that tell you what you gotta look for, what should all right, let them guide you to the next perfect motherfucker. Cause I ain't it and I ain't gonna try to be it. And Drake's Finder says, oh yeah, I read that one. And the Picasso says he fought a guy, says that trained in my gym, says bare knuckle fighter. And then it was another fool MMA had. What was that fool with the brown hair the UFC had? He had good hands, but he didn't think for shit. He started getting his ass knocked out. He was ripped up black dude. He reminded me of Crazy Horse. And he used to always come in with like a blonde color like hair and shit. But he was getting his ass knocked out. Just fast hands, but never really set shit up and would get his ass knocked out at times. He had a cool run. I can't think of that fool name. And then Dre's Finder says a freaky ass teacher says that was my home economics class at junior high school. Says she was a cold freak. Says all the guys be all eyes looking at her in them tight ass pants. Man, I swear my cousin man was fucking his teacher. And I don't know Deuce Times or CJ here if Melvin Gillard, man, Picasso be on this shit. That's what Melvin Gillard. Exactly. I thought Melvin Gillard was gonna be that motherfucker. Melvin Gillard had hands, but as far as like setting shit up, he was just stupid with. He just had quick hands, leave himself open, not thinking, not setting shit. He could have been super successful in MMA. But back to the knowing a relative, I knew I be swearing this nigga's fucking his teacher. But CJ, Deuce Time, I'm talking about Steve. Steve was the man at the high school. And I remember because we used to go to his parents' conference and shit. I used to try to go everything little Steve had. He was just imagine you going to a nigga parents' conference. Shit. I go to a nigga parent conference. And this how I knew who this teacher was. And then even they be at this nigga football game. This nigga was a mega star at that high school. They be all in the stands at this nigga football game. So it was one we saw always be at their house. And I remember this nigga walked out the door, man. You talking about nigga trying to be like somebody's little brother, you tag along or following where they go. I remember he walk out the door and I go to the door. They had just put in a because that's why and you look at Dro in the house, they got the door with the glass in the living room. So all right, because I didn't want to look through that little side window to see what Steve was doing. So I looked through the little glass in the wooden door. I was shorter then, so I'm having to stand on my tippy. Now today I look straight out that mug. So I'm looking up to see who it is, and I see somebody with balloons and shit. And I'm looking like somebody got balloons. I think it may have been around his birthday or something was going on. And so then I go sneak because I can't really see through that glass. I go look through that window in the living room. And I peeked through the little curtain thing, and I see that nigga out there with the teacher. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, man, I don't know what to think of that shit. That nigga teacher that came by the house with a card and balloons. Like, that nigga, if I wasn't there, they probably have been in that motherfucking house. That shit had to be the shit. You fucking a badass teacher as a high schooler is some shit. Dre Finder says Reggie be having me laughing my ass off. Says the pussy stank, man. Man, ain't nothing worse than some stanking cooch. If you been a nigga like me, you done ran across some stanking cooch. Like I said the other day, I was telling that story? I was out there because my little chick, I was done with her, so I'm out there fucking with another broad. And I go with my boy because he had a broad. He's fucking with like, man, she got a roommate. Hey, Reg, hey, come through. She right, and they was in Long Beach. She right up the road. I go over there, chill in the room. The chick was cold too. She a little bad one. Like, oh, another one. And it came across a cold one. And we vibing. She cold. Cold, but she let me play with it. I don't know what the fuck made her. It had just a strong stench, and this stench stayed on me for like 2 or 3 days. I couldn't even go around. Me and the chick wasn't fully broken off, but I couldn't even go around her. Like this stench was on me. Like what the fuck? To this day, man, this shit probably been close to. That got to be close to like 17 years ago. I still be wondering like, what the fuck was that? And maybe that's why that chick was alone, because she was pretty. She shouldn't. Ain't no way she'd been alone, man. She was pretty. And then Picasso says I realize what marriage says gets gets numb. You have to know how to make the relationship. Or says you have to know how to take the relationship to another level. Says for the fire to stay lit. Yeah, you gotta find the things that like that shit. And then sometimes if you in good, perfect relationships, everything ain't sexual and shit. No, I ain't hit that shit. Hell no. Nah. Hell no, because this how bad the stench was. It starts stinking in the fucking room. It starts stinking in the room. But I had another broad who I used to fucking fuck with and work with. And I didn't hit it a couple times. But like I say, because this had to be like even 10 years after that show when people was bringing up about people saying that BBL stink. But I didn't know if this chick got asked. We used to work at the post office. Nobody know what I'm talking about. When I worked at the post office to work with, she used to be slim, like slim, never really had cake on it. One day she ended up passing down our block one day with her homegirl. And I see her. That's how we end up talking again. Because I stopped working they fired me from the post office, so I hadn't seen her. And so when she ended up coming on the block with her homegirl, I see her like, what's up, fucking with her? And this chick was like, when we sit up, we went on the side. She was like, oh, I used to like you, ooh, saying that kind of shit. But I used to always be with this thick ass chick. Everybody used to think I was fuck. Me and her was just cool. That old chick was bad. If that was one that I regret not even trying to make a move, it was her. That chick was just so fucking cool. Maybe that's why I didn't hit, and she was older than me too. But I always just treat her like I'm a game with her, and then also being around her. You know how chicks see you with another bad chick, and they thinking that I was getting laid off of that shit just from chicks thinking I was the chick I was fucking with, because bitches be messy. So, but so when old girl see me on the block, she was like, "Oh, I used to like you, whoop whoop," and she was like, she's saying we just fucking around because that's what I used to talk to. And so, me and her changed numbers, and we get the fuck around. So I even hit the first time, but when I see her, then she had cake on. I'm like, damn, like where you get all this from? Fucking where is she laughing? You so all that shit. You so crazy, all this shit. And so she was cool, but then I was always a person. I used to have so much shit. I never want to be like always up under a chick. I can go months and not fuck with her, and then we hit each other some down the line. So down the line, she ended up having a baby, end up in a relationship. That shit fell apart. So maybe it's like a year or so later we get the fuck around. She hit me. Come back around. Now she got even stupider cakes. But her cakes was tight. I don't know. But this is before that BBL shit was famous. Maybe she just got thick off of that baby shit. She come over there, and at the crib, she come to Long Beach. I mean, that shit stank so damn bad. And I never fuck with her again after that. Maybe she felt bad because I don't even think she was even hitting me like that. That shit stunk like a mug. And then, but yeah, I said, man, I got some funny ass stories. Man, I used to be a fucking horn dog, bro. And then I know Boxer says, you ever ate an M&M soul food? Hell yeah. One of my relatives used to give me free food from that mug. She used to work there. She used to work at that main one. What's the main one on near the Baldwin Hills Mall? It used to be the one over there. This before the family killed the dude who owned that shit. I used to go to that one, and then it used to be at M&M's. Where's the other M&M's at? It used to be, because I used to go to I used to go to M&M's. It used to be one over there off of Century and like 103rd. Matter of fact, CJ, it's the street off of where y'all used to have a house right there in the neighborhood. But at the corner, it was at the corner from your house. It was that Soul Food Spice to go to that one. That shit used to be called before it's Doolin's now. That shit was Bertha's. They used to have bad bras in there, but M&M's had that one by the Baldwin Hills Mall, and they used to have another location. Well, my relatives start working, I'll drive all the way down there, and she'll hook me up with food from down there. And that shit used to be jumping. That M&M's down there used to be jumping. But then when that family killed that dude, because they got one out here, the food ain't the same. That food garbage to the motherfucker. That food own relatives killed them and shit. And then Picasso says women be wanting a big ass wedding, says big ass wedding, thinking you paying for it. Says, but traditionally Christian weddings here, says fathers pay it, says pay to give her away. Says she looking to strip you, says looking to strip you of your resources. Man, fuck that shit. Fuck all that shit. I don't even want to do that shit. I don't even want to meet bitches. I fuck with family. I don't even give a fuck about me and their family. Unless they got a cool family. But some people come from some old piece of shit ass families. I don't even be caring to meet their goddamn family. Picasso says, I like the phrase someone said. I like the phrase someone said, it's not your job, says to make her happy. Will Smith said that shit, but I used to always say that shit too. That's always the way I feel. I was like, man, it ain't my job. It just be depressed and sad. It ain't my job to make you happy. You better find out within yourself of going back to what you was. What was your happy moments? Fuckers be thinking it's your job to uplift them and then blame you for shit. Or they probably hurting from what some other motherfucker done done. Or rushing into relationships knowing their heart's been broken by some other dude. That'd be the other thing. Of jumping in relationship, bitches jumping in relationships, vulnerable, open. Then you get them because you want to fuck. Then you like the broad. And then she having feelings because you feeling that spot. And then she feeling sad because she want the other nigga back. Like, hell, dog. Eric Parker says, I forgot the guy says with the blonde haired name says, but he died. Wait, did Melvin Gillard die? Hold on. Let me see. Did that fool? Oh, no, you talking about Kevin Randleman. That's who you talking about. But let me make sure Melvin Gillard ain't died. Yeah, you talking about Kevin Randleman. I think Kevin Randleman, did he die of a staph infection? I remember that fool had staph or some shit. And that shit, no, Melvin Gillard's still alive. So, wait, what was Melvin Gillard's MMA record? Says he was knocked out in boxing. That fool had 62 fights in MMA. He got a lot of losses. 62 fights, 33 wins, 24 losses. Of those 24 losses, he was knocked out 7 times, submitted 10, 7 decisions, 2 draws. That was a fighting motherfucker, Melvin Gillard. He had a lot of fights, and then he even went to trying boxing. Like I said, Melvin Gillard he could fight. Melvin Gillard can fight his ass off. But then the dude you talking about with the blonde hair that died was, you talking about Kevin Randleman, that big buff ass dude. Yeah, that big buff ass dude from Pride during the. Remember who did Randleman pick up? I think he picked up Fedor, one of the greatest niggas in MMA. That nigga Randleman was so fucking strong. He picked Fedor up, jumped with this nigga, and slammed Fedor on his neck. How that motherfucker didn't break, and then Fedor came back and knocked that nigga out. Them fools, man, it's some classic shit in fucking in Pride MMA. That shit was the shit. And that always wanted to be a fucking fighter. That's why I respect these motherfuckers. And it's Go Young DJ says you still hit. No, not the one who when I was fucking with the other, I ain't hit that one, but the other one I swear at the post office with the funky box, I did. But that's when that shit started coming out. The other chick, I was finger banging her and that shit came out. And then Go Young DJ says, why you get fired from the post office? Oh, it's so crazy. I'll be wondering. I don't know. Because when I worked at the post office, I was a PTF, that part-time flex, where you only get like 1 day off in a week. Or was it 6 days? I think you worked 6 days. You only had like Sunday off or some shit. And they wasn't doing them, paying you like you start at minimum wage or barely above that shit. The post office wasn't paying shit. You don't get no benefits, none of that shit. But I used to have it so bomb, and that's why I had that old chick. When I tell that story, that old chick, when I went to the movies with her, and then that white lady, we were watching $1 Million Baby. Whatever year $1 Million Baby is when I'm fucking with that old chick. Matter of fact, let me see what year that give me a good reference on what year this is. Hold on. $1 Million Baby. That's why movies, music always give a good. That's 2004. So that shit 21 years ago. So this in 2004. $1 million baby. So I'm at the post office during this time when I'm sitting in, we have $1 million baby, and the lady, I'm messing with this older lady in there. 2004. I'm how old? 22, 23. Am I that old? Yeah, I'm like 22, 23 years old. This lady like 56, something like that. And so she was on. I remember my supervisor used to always be, because she would come down to my machine, and the supervisor like, girl, what you sitting there robbing the cradle? And I used to laugh at that shit like, oh, they trying to call me a baby and shit. And so this lady come to the house all right. So we go to the movies, and this chick laying in my lap, because I guess she didn't want to see it. I didn't want to see the movie. She just wanted to go out to a movie. And she laying in my lap. And the white lady in the movie keep doing this shit throughout this movie. And when the movie over, they roll the credits and walking out. She said to the people she was with, she like, I thought that was his mother. From there, I was cool on this lady. But that's where I was when I worked at the post office and shit, I think it was either, I don't know if it was for my cousin's wedding. I think this when Keisha get married, or it was around the Super Bowl. Something they was telling us, I think it was for Keisha wedding. And they had the reception, and I wasn't gonna go in. And so I didn't feel like going in. And you got to call in. So I was like, I call in. Usually them supervisors used to look at me so much that I would be missing days I'm supposed to work, and I wouldn't even call in. Them motherfuckers just took care of me. But then again, I worked my ass off. Or I call in and not get fired, not none of this shit. Mind, we don't have sick time. As a PTF for the post office, you don't earn vacation time. You don't earn sick time. You only get only so many absences before they fire your ass. The post office file. The post office scams. That's probably why them people used to go postal in the damn post office. And with that shit, I used to be scared in the post office too. Because I used to be worried that somebody's going to come to work and shoot the shit up. Because as a kid, you always heard about postal workers going crazy. And then they used to have some weird ass looking people you work in there with. So I used to always watch everybody in there who used to look like off. The people who didn't socialize with people or be looking off, I watched them motherfuckers. It was specifically 2 or 3 people in there. I walk by their machines. I walk by, I always look around their waist, see what's going on, and then I'll be in there. But the machine's loud, so I'll always be looking around. But so I think I'm at my cousin wedding reception and shit. It's either her wedding or around the Super Bowl. I got a letter to see when I got released from the. No. In matter of fact, I had another supervisor. This nigga hooked me up. So I call in the day I'm not going in because my shit about to happen. I think I'm at their wedding reception. So I call in was like, man, I can't. I call in was like, man, I'm calling in, and they was like, the lady answered. This is a lady named Sue Chin. She was a manager. She was the graveyard shift manager. She happened to answer the phone when I call in there. And I don't know. So I'm like, I can't come in. I'm calling in. And then she was like, well, you got to have a reason why you're not coming in. When she asked me that shit kind of made me hot. I said, well, shit, I'm drunk. Like, and left it at that. And she was like, who is this? I said, it's Reggie Owens. Like, and then she, okay. I was like, yeah, I'm not coming in. Anyway, like, she asked me, I got makeup excuse. I told her I'm not coming in. You asking me. And then so we get off the phone. The next day I go in. As soon as I go in, one of the girls, because the girls in used to love my black ass. But I guess Sue Chin had been telling everybody what I called in to say because it got around the plant. So when I first walk in, when I'm about to go clock in, a girl walk up to me. She was like, Reggie, tell me that wasn't your ass that called in talking about you drunk. I said, damn, how the hell you know that shit? She was like, cause Sue Chin telling everybody that was her that answered the phone. I said, oh shit. And I'm like, damn, I fucked up then. And so I'm wondering, like, so when I walk in, don't none of the supervisors say shit. I don't even see really them throughout the shift. We work 10-hour shifts. I don't see them. I'm waiting. I'm thinking like this, I'm gonna be met by a supervisor. They're gonna call me to the office, write me up. I think I'm gonna see her. These motherfuckers like stayed away. The management of the post office scandalous, homie. I worked the whole fucking shift. So right towards the end of the shift, by these 10-hour shifts, right towards the end of the shift, I'm seeing a line of the supervisors. right there where my machine at. And I'm like, oh, this how they about to do it. So now they gonna try to do this funky shit at the end of the shift. All day I don't see these motherfuckers. I thought they were gonna make nothing of it. Here old dude walk over, he's like, man, he's like, I hate to fuck me. Like, man, why you do that shit? He said, but look here. He was like, this how man, all them supervisors used to love me, man, because I be telling the jokes in there. I be in there clowning. I used to make work fun and shit. And in the post office, a lot of people be fucking bitch. In the post office, be man, you talking about people fucking each other in there. You talking where that term work wife and work husband come from? That shit come from the post office. And you talking about in there fucking shit? Man, the post office was it. But them bros in there love me and shit. So I like the supervisor's cool because I made work fun and shit. I think every job I worked, I didn't make this shit fun. And so that fool was like, man, it's like I hate to do it, but he said, man, don't even trip. So when he walked me in the office, and me and him, because I gotta sign a paper, he said, don't even worry. He said, he pointed to a line on the paper. He said, I'm not terminating. He said, I'm letting you resign. But he said, look, I got this for you. They opened a position for a mail carrier. You go in, you put in for that shit. Already got you put in for this shit. They gonna do the test on this day. Man, within like 4 days of them supposed to be firing me, not knowing he give me a resignation paper or whatever the paper. It wasn't even a resign paper. Whatever it is, it still opened the door where I went in there for the mail carrier test. The mail carrier test came with benefits, all this other shit, and starting at like $18 an hour back then or something like that. And then so I go to take the test for that shit. Pass that test, and then the next day you go for the other, not the next day, but they set you up for the next part of the hiring phase. But so this is where I was like, you go into the suit, you get an interview. This is why I tell that story where a bee stung my ear and I look all deformed. I look fucked up. Not knowing because the day before a bee stung me and shit in my ear. Like I patted, I remember pulling that stinger out too. Not knowing my ear swelled up, my ear is deformed. It's all out here and it's all fat. So when I go into that second part of that hiring process for that job and shit, I'm in a suit and all this other shit. I'm looking clean. And like the bras over there, like staring, like looking over my way. And I'm like, now I'm feeling like, oh, now I look GQ than a motherfucker. I'm thinking I'm looking cool. And then, so everybody like staring at me. So I didn't know if they thought like because I be looking like puff and shit. I don't know if it was that shit or if it's because I'm cleaning the suit, not knowing my fucking ear all fucked up. I don't even think I looked in the mirror. I had to not look in the mirror the whole day I got dressed. I just took a shower, got dressed, and walked out. And fucking so my ear like that. I'm not knowing it because I don't see myself. So later that day, so when I'm going through the process, I end up not getting it because I had a suspended license. You can't have a suspended license for 5 years, so that automatically terminated me from the process because I had a suspended license. And so that was it. So I ended up leaving, going home. I ended up going to pick up medicine for moms or something. I had to go to the pharmacy to pick up her medicine while I'm walking in the motherfucking CVS or whatever it is, and I'm walking, and I happen to look in the window from the stores. I'm walking along the side of it, and when I look at myself, man, I look fucking like a deformed dude and shit. My ear all out here. That shit, I can't even hold my ears hanging out like some Dumbo shit, and it's swollen up. And I'm looking like, man, this is why everybody looking at me, man. I look fucking deformed, man. I look fucked up. That's why everybody's staring at me, man. I look like some fucked up ass looking dude off of a fucking movie with somebody fucked up. But yeah, oh dude, man, I always got hooked up from job. Even when I had that fight at TSA where they were supposed to fire me, they ended up letting me go for what they call that shit. No. They let me put in a resignation. So that shit never followed me with a termination. And they supposed to terminate because I was cool with it. I was out, my standing in the job was good. Even when I lost that printing job where they supposed to fire me because I went off on that manager. They I looked up on this fool about to beat his white ass up in front of everybody on the plant floor. When the lady was supposed to terminate me from the HR, she put in for cause. She didn't put termination, nothing. She put for cause, but it also had still eligible for rehire and shit. So it never followed me. I'm talking, I used to do wild shit at jobs. And that's why I be laughing like now that I got older, I done got better at not acting like how I used to act at jobs. Because even though I was always good standing with the management because I worked hard, I always worked hard. And if Picasso says, but I never play that shit, you gonna disrespect me. I don't give a fuck what your position is. None of your position. Even at that job, man, I used to walk because he's having a platform because it's forklifts that move on the plant floor. So you have to walk in these certain little designated little spaces, areas. And so sometimes be management in there, they walking side by side, blocking, and most people move out their way. I walk right through these motherfuckers. Like, nigga, y'all better walk behind each other, and they'll be staring and looking at me, and I walk back and look at them. Like, nigga, get your ass over. Fuck y'all. That was always my mentality because I knew it was like a little plant where they just thought lesser of anybody in the lower position, especially black folks in there. I wasn't playing that shit. And then it says, but let's stop writing. I was supposed to get off here an hour ago, man. Says my high school teacher says whooping us with those big wooden paddles. Says now I just feel like I'm getting my lick back. Says when I get a girlfriend. Says they be like, why you look so mean? Says you mad? Says you mad about something? Says I'll be wearing the lining out that motherfucking says that out that portal. He said I'll be wearing the line out that motherfucking portal of life, taking it out on that teacher whooping you and shit. My kids was asking that shit the other day. Was teachers able to whoop us back in the day? I don't know if they be joking or how old they be really thinking I am and shit. Cause what they call everybody, the young people to disrespect old people, like little kids call it. Yeah, that's what they call you, boomers and shit. I'm like, how fucking old do kids? Where they learn? They learn that shit off of watching motherfuckers off the internet. They think is funny. Eric Parker says you are absolutely right. Says that's us. That's who I'm talking about. Says Fedor. Says facts. And if Costa says y'all stunk up the whole movie theater, man. No, not with the old lady. I ain't do nothing with the old lady, man. I was gonna probably after the movie do something because she sure wanted to go somewhere. But when that lady said that shit, and I remember we left, she wanted to go get something to eat. I was acting like I wasn't hungry. I didn't want nothing. I was like, man, I don't want to be seen in public no more with you. People think you my fucking mom. I'm like, it looked that bad. Like when that white lady said that shit was over. And then I remember because Valentine's is coming up. This lady had got rented a room and all that shit at Disney. She even mailed this shit to my house. When she started calling me, I wouldn't answer her calls. I wouldn't even talk to her at work. And then she ended up was trying to call because she had planned and even rented the room at Disney on some like romantic shit. And even sent the reservation. I didn't even go to that shit because I'm like, I think she'd have popped up. Like, man, if that white lady never sent, that white lady been pilling that month. I mean, not the white, that old lady been pilling me all type of money. But then it was like, because she said that shit, and it was like them ladies who my supervisor talking about her robbing the cradle. Was like, oh, hell no. And the Dre's finders in there rolling. He says absolutely nothing. Says absolutely nothing but whores being postal. Says I used to work there in high school. Yeah, they been there fucking at the post office. It was one dude, man. He was smashing everything. A lot of bras thought I was smashing a lot of bras, but I wasn't. But like one or two chicks, I was getting bras from broads hearing me talking to like other homies about bras I fucking with. Bitches just be intrigued and giving it up that way. But then people was really on when I used to be with the older chick because this chick had stupid cake. She had big ass on her, and then she had these wide ass hips. Her hips was crazy. Damn, I only seen like 2-3 chicks in my life like this with hips like this. Chick hips was stupid wide and stupid cake. And people used to say, because all the time when we go on our breaks, all the time it's me and this chick. And a lot of chicks would be jealous of that shit, but a lot of chicks would be like, damn, he fucking with her. He didn't pull her, and then these chicks be on the side like trying to just throw it. And I'll end up getting it. And they not even knowing me and her ain't even fucking. And then Picasso says, because she had kids and all that shit. Matter of fact, reason why I think we really wasn't fucking, she was married for a while. She had 2 kids, man. She found her husband she was married to ended up being a homo. That fool ended up having and that shit had to be fucked up. So that's the reason I wasn't fucking with her and shit. She's going through that shit. and dealing with the fact that her husband ended up coming out. That fool ended up having a full on relationship with a dude. And Picasso says one of my exes was cheating on me. Says in the post office, and she worked and she worked at the mall. Says she was on the streets. Says she was says she was for the streets, alleys, sewers, etc. Says during my time, these hoes. Yeah, man, some of that relationship shit, you get them with the wrong kind of broad, but the signs be there. And I think with dudes, man, we fall in love with them old broads who people deem as like being whores, but they let it be known, man. They just, and people don't pick up the signs. Like, man, all they want is the experience. They just want to be tapped, and fools be wanting to fall in love with them. Steph says irritation says wasn't bothering you. No, it wasn't irritated. That shit, when the bee stung me the day before that shit, I just remember because I knew when like a bee sting you, that little stinger comes out, and I feel that shit because you feel that shit like it felt like it's throbbing. I remember grabbing to pull that shit, and then I left it at that. Like it hurted for a while, but the next day, no, I ain't feel nothing. That motherfucker, my ear was fat as shit, and it was like sideways like this. I ain't know nothing. I thought that suit man had me just like, oh, I'm about to get this shit. I'm flying this motherfucker. Bitches keep looking over here. And I'm like, man, these fools looking at me. I'm like, man, these fools just, they over here mad because these broads on me and shit. Not knowing I look retarded. Then he ended laughing. Steph says, SF City still in the building, says salute to the chat. Picasso says, you know how people get that milk leg, says our elephant leg. Says you had the elephant ear. Yeah, man, I don't know. I was looking like fucking, man, maybe almost like an African elephant ear, but my ear was all the way fucked up. And then Steph in there laughing out loud. And then I'm about to get out of here, folks. Picasso says these white and Asian women, says at my job, says getting fucked in the parking lot, says by black and Latino dudes, especially says and Latino dudes, says actually white dudes too. Says 5 pregnant women right now. You know what I be seeing? Because I be going to the park when I either go get my walks in or my runs in. And I know what I'm watching, homie. The number of affairs I see that go on in that shit. Or even when I used to go back when I was going to the gym and at that Planet Fitness shit, the number of fairs I be seeing going on at night in these parking lots on the side of these parks is crazy. You see 2 motherfuckers pull up. You see one motherfucker get out. Either the girl get out, jump in his other car. The dude get out, get in the other car. Man, I'd be like, boy, this shit is scandalous, homie. This shit be scandalous out here. And I mean, almost every time I go to the park and I get to get in my walk on, I see cars pull up or people will park a car here and then the car to pull back over and the person get out, jump in his car that been parked over there. That car drop them off, take off. They get in their car, roll out like, oh, these scandalous motherfuckers. Ah, shit. This shit cold-blooded. Steph says, so he said he ripped his pants, and then he says, at his boys' weddings, and then he said shit was so embarrassing. Then Picasso in there rolling saying facts, but yeah, man, this shit out here is scandalous, homie. Man, this shit scandalous. That shit I be seeing at the parks, and it could be multiple parks I go to, but this park like a little smaller one with the parking lot. No, it ain't even small. It's kind of a nice sized community park, but then people can park on the side streets, park in that parking lot. I always see they don't go in the parking lot. They park on the side streets near the park. They drop somebody get dropped off, hop in the car, the other car drop them off, take off, and then they roll out. I'd be like, man, this shit cold. I see that some of them even stay in the cars. And then Dre's finally says, stay up to myself in the chat, says I need to get some work done. Yes, indeed. And I'm ready to get out of here so I can go to sleep and get my ass off to work. But that's all I got, folks. Catch you on the next one. Peace.